So, with Ray Liotta's unfortunate passing, there's going to be a lot of retrospectives of high points as well as admittedly low points. Quite an extraordinary actor, but of course, we got to state the obvious. His best known work remains his Scorsese work with Goodfellas. It's probably the most well known role, but he has done other things. To be fair, he's not a major character. He's a more minor character, but he's a very critical ingredient. And I thought I covered this, but apparently I did not. So it's an unfortunate good way plugging a gap in terms of my own criticism with Marriage Story by Noah, a very, very strong film about a couple and the way that their characters just progressively shift and change because of their decisions and the kind of naivete on both sides about what that means to get a divorce and how easy and hard it is. This is mainly a ScarJo Adam project. They're the lead actors, and the drama is mostly focused on them. But this is a genuinely great ensemble cast. I think it's very rare, even with a great film, where certain role, certain character really wasn't well done. This is kind of what I had a problem with Logan, a really great film, but it did have some kind of creaky performances here and there. That's not the case here. Like every performance, everyone here, spectacular. I couldn't really detect a false note. Probably the one place I would be a little critical was Laura Dern. I thought the character there was a little too flashy or silly at points, but even her, she's in character. I just thought that might have been edited a little bit better and just shave off a few seconds. Just a little less of that would have been. This is as near as you get to great cinema on television or streaming or whatever we're going to call it. I give this an very well deserved 9 out of 10. No hesitation. I was going to be a little bit frightful because this is familiar territory. So the reason I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 is if you do know Noah's work, he's kind of done this thing a couple times. If you do know his stuff, it's nothing new, really. It's just him exploring old territory, but the way he does it and from the angle he does it, I think was very well done. And a lot of people have criticized it for being slightly partisan towards the male character. I didn't detect that. I think it's pretty even in terms of presenting its case of them both being very creative people, but being very torn. And the plot itself doesn't matter, though it is very well developed. It's about just these two creative types and the way that their lives are diverging, the way that one feels that the partner was not really supportive, and was that an accident? Was that intentional? And the way it just slowly avalanches into this big, momentous breakup between the two, and how they aren't prepared for it or what it's going to take from their family. And there's a lot going on here. It's non-spoiler, so I don't want to get into too many details, even with Ray, because he's very, very fascinating. I will just say this. He plays a lawyer character, and just when he comes into the narrative is a very critical moment, and it's kind of pivot point where the tension rises. And it's not phony. The way the tension rises is very natural, it's very organic, it makes a lot of sense. It's very subtle because he plays a very tough character. And just the atmosphere changes, and it's not showy or overdone, but when he comes in, it's over. Like, he just has a very calm, very reserved energy, and just the cadence and rhythm of the dialogue really near perfect, and it's a spectacular performance. Again, you're not going to be prepared for it because this is a role he rarely does. It's a much more quiet role, but when he unleashes, it's very well done and very, very, very well acted. It's really a masterclass, and I'm trying to get into acting myself, so it's very good if you're a young actor coming up. That it's a really great, spectacular way of trying to do a character and the approach to it. And it brings up that awful, difficult question of, is this really Noah's brilliance or the way Ray is such a well-accomplished actor, or that both of them just interacting? I don't know. I have to do more research because he also writes his own projects. He does a lot of writing and directing simultaneously, so it's kind of hard to tell. But all you can say is the casting, the directing, the writing, the performances are just so on point that it's really close to a near perfect story. Just a few minor things here and there that would detract it from being completely perfection. You can say Ray was robbed because there's a lot of other male minor performances they also deserve. an Oscar nomination. So hopefully it's going to get more reconsideration in the years ahead because it really is one of his last great roles. It's a cameo role, but it's astonishing. Every single second, every single minute, perfect. I really, really loved it. If you are a Ray Liotta completist, it's well worth the wait. Even if you don't care about the main story, it's well worth the wait. Just, you'll love it. It's unfortunate that it was one of his last great roles, but at least we have it to look back upon.